Once you have your support cage assembled and mounted to the vehicle, you're going to want to provide some padding to it. So all you need to get is some basic pipe insulation, again available at almost any hardware store. You'd want to get pipe insulation that's appropriately sized for 3/4 inch. It does come in other diameters, so make sure you purchase the right diameter. And from there, all you'll do is start looking at your vehicle and cutting some segments for yourself. And so we tried to do 45-degree angled cuts at the corner so that we would get a nice attachment. And this one actually would have gone there. So we have these miter cuts at the end. And some of my shorter pieces. So that when we get to this corner, you see that it has a nice fit there. And then we also padded down the inside of this section so that it protected the child's legs. And this particular one isn't mounted to the vehicle. We're going to be using this vehicle for one of our builds. And then the seams, you notice this bottom seam here, we tried to turn away from the child because really we want to make sure they're protected here. Once we have this in place, we're going to want to seal these little connections here. We just have some regular silver duct tape at this point. This also comes in black, so if you want to sort of color match your things, you can try to get a black or a charcoal gray. Now they have all these designer duct tapes out there. And you just tear yourself off a little bit, get into your connections here, try to get it wrapped all the way around so that you have a nice covering there. And then we like to use electrical tape for sort of securing this, and then we'll actually come across this connection. So once you have this, you can just sort of wrap your electrical tape around. If you want to do connections like this, you just snip it off at that point. Some of the groups have sort of like to get in here and keep a running connection going, so they wrap once, and then from there, they just sort of spiral it up and around. When you get to the corners, you want to make sure you hit a nice solid connection there, because that's one of the spots where it can come loose. And then keep spiraling it down. And if you go to a discount store, you'll be able to get some inexpensive electrical tape that is very suitable for these types of projects. And at that point, the foam is nice and secure. The child has a place where they can grab onto the vehicle and get in, or if they're inside the vehicle and they were to bump it, it's now completely padded. As you finish this up and you have your child in here, you want to sort of look at where the child is going to be facing, what they might be grabbing onto, so that any spot that they would grab onto is padded or protected. If you end up with a situation like this, it's going to be sort of difficult to get this PVC pipe wrap to come all the way around this connection. And while these screw heads aren't a particularly dangerous item, you know, they could be a little sharp on tiny hands. So this is another situation where it's nice to have the loop side of your Velcro around, which has an adhesive backing to it that can be peeled off, so that you can just cut a small section of this, place it over those screw heads, and then wrap that connection with some either duct tape or electrical tape so the child's protected.